So today we are going to see a topic which is called as the crop production. Okay, the topic is called as the crop production, and previously whatever we have learned, I hope you understood that we have learned about the organic farming, and also we have learned about the natural fertilizers and the chemical fertilizers. So now today we are going to see a topic which is called as the crop production. So how a farmer has to protect the crops. Till now we have seen that natural fertilizers are very important for the crop, so that you can very easily improve the crop, right? The productivity of the crop, the yield of the crop. So it can be easily, I know it can be improved. So but here, how to protect the crop? So we have seen how to use the fertilizers, how why we should not use the chemical fertilizers, right? So we have seen all these things, but now we are going to see how we can protect our crops. Okay, how the farmers can protect the crops. So especially we'll be talking about the weeds. We'll talk about the weeds. So these weeds are the these weeds are the unwanted plants, right? These weeds are the unwanted plants. These weeds are the unwanted plants. Basically, they grow along with the crop plants. Now, if this is the crop plants, I'm drawing here the crop plants and all. So they are growing very neatly and very in a proper order. But now these weeds will grow a bit far, they grow even better than the crop plants, and they will. Now, what are the nutrients which are there in the soil? These weeds will compete for the nutrients. These weeds will compete for the water. These weeds will take the nutrients from the soil, okay, and the water from the soil, so that they can grow very fastly. But whereas now that will affect the growth of the normal crop plants. So basically, these weeds will, they grow very easily rather than the crop plants. So these crop plants, now they don't get the proper water and proper nutrients, so their growth will be stalled, or the growth will not be as expected, and what are the yield you want to get, that will not be as expected. So that's the reason why these weeds should be removed from the crops, and this process is basically called as weeding. It's called as the weeding. So basically you can see, depending upon the crop, number of people will go to that particular weeding, and they will start weeding, and they will remove all the unwanted plants and all from that particular soil. So, and that is how they get these, all weeds should be removed at least in a month, twice they will remove these weeds and all. Even they start growing, as soon as they start growing and all, before they attain a very good size and all, before that itself they will remove these weeds from the soil. So to remove these weeds and all, they have different methods, right? The first method we had talked about is the weeding, the process which is called as the weeding. And also there are weedicides. There are weedicides which also, what they will do is they will kill the weeds and all. They will affect the weeds and all. They will not affect the normal crop plants, but they can easily they can infect the weeds and all, and they can kill the weeds, so that the weeds can be they will be removed from the soil. So that is how the weeding process is done, and also weedicides can be used. And now if you remove these weeds and all, the soil, the nutrients which are in the soil will be easily available for all the plants and all which are in the which we have raised as a crop. So that is how they can be very useful, and the process called as weeding should be done regularly, so that no weeds will be grown in the soil. Okay, children. So now we will come to the next topic, which is called as the insects and the plant diseases. Insects and the plant diseases. Okay. So, okay, children. So now we are going to talk about the insects and the plant diseases. Right now, when you talk about the insects and all, there are several insects which really harm the plants and all. So if you take this plant, okay. And if you take this plant and all, you can see here, now these are the leaves, right? Several insects, they will nibble the leaves. They will nibble the leaves, they will bite the leaves, and they will start eating the leaves. So if they start eating the leaves, what will happen? The growth of the plant will be definitely affected, because leaves are the food factory of the plant. They are the food factory of the plant. So if the factory is closed, nothing can be produced, nothing can be synthesized here. So photosynthesis process will not occur properly. So if the leaf is not healthy, right? So that is how these insects will, especially they will sit on the leaves and all, they will start nibbling the leaves, and they will destroy the veins and all, and the photosynthesis process will not occur properly. So that is what happens when insects will start eating the leaves. And second one is, some of the insects also will infect the stem. So when what they will do is, they will bore holes in the stem. They will bore holes in the stem, so they'll make holes in the stems. So what happens is, the water which is going there, the salts which are moving from the xylem vessels, now they cannot move to the other parts of the plant. And what will happen? The water does, as the salts and all will not reach the leaves and all, the food cannot be produced. And third one there are some insects and all which they will infect the roots. So if the roots are infected, again the same problem. Here also, even the flowing vessels are also infected. So what this will do is, they will make holes in the flowing vessels and they will drink the sap. So what is the food material which is being supplied, which is prepared by the plant, that will be supplied to the different parts of the body through the flowing vessels. So all these insects will come and sit at the flowing vessels. They'll make bores, aphids. You can take the example of the aphids. What they will do is, they will make small holes like this, and they'll enter their proboscis here like this. They'll start drinking the sap which is in the stems. So not one, thousands of insects will invade one particular plant like that. So once they will remove all the sap, ultimately the plant will die. So that is how different insects will infect the different plants. You might have seen in your kitchen gardens, or in your gardens also, you can see some worms will be moving on some caterpillars will be moving on the leaves, and also some insects will be there which will be destroying your crops, your kitchen gardens also. So that is how these leaves and stem and the roots can be infected by the insects. Apart from that, there are several insects which are really helpful to us, helpful to the farmer, because they help in the pollination. For example, you can take the butterflies, you can take the dragonflies, right? And they will honeybees, you can take, right? They will come and sit on the flower, and what they will do, they will carry the pollen grains from the one plant to the other plant. That is how they will help in the cross pollination. So they will be very, very useful for the cross pollination. Even that means there are some insects which are really very helpful to the crops, and there are some insects which are very harmful to the crops. So here farmer should be he should have a clear idea of what he is going to do, what kind of insects he is going to remove. So that is what we are going to study now. So here, one more thing here is, there are some microorganisms also. Here we have talked about the insects here, and now we talk about the microorganisms also. And these microorganisms, they can cause several diseases in the plants. If you take the bacteria, if you take the fungus, if you take the virus, all these three, as they are causing diseases in the human beings, in the similar way, they can cause the diseases in the in the plants also. So these microorganisms can infect the leaves, and the plant will shrivel, the plant will completely die, and the roots will be affected, stem will be affected, leaves will be affected. So they have all the various ways to destroy the plants and all. So that is how even bacteria or the virus or the fungus can also destroy a plant by causing diseases. Okay, so you know about the ticka disease in the ground, red dot disease in the sugar cane, and even several rice diseases. So all these are diseases which are caused by the microorganisms. So now, but in another way, microorganisms are also helpful to the plant, because they provide some of the microorganisms which are really helpful. They produce the nitrogen, isn't it? So there are microorganisms which are harmful, there are microorganisms which are useful to the plants, and also that is how here microorganisms are useful to the plants some way, and some of the microorganisms are harmful to the plants. So when such problems are caused by the microorganisms or the insects and all, know what the farmers will do is, they will start spraying the insecticides, they will start spraying the fungicides, they will start spraying the bactericides and all. So what are the different chemicals are there to make this to get rid of the insects and the microorganisms? They'll keep on spraying all those things, saying okay, fine, it's good that they are doing this process, and they will be killing several insects and all. But here, one thing we have to remember, because of spraying of these chemicals and all, no, like they're also killing the microorganisms which are really useful to the plant. These insecticides also kill the microorganisms which are insecticides will kill the insects which are actually carrying the process of pollination. So that is how even the ones which are really useful to us also can be affected. Even the harmful ones also can be affected. Apart from that, even the weeds also, they are killed by using the weedicides. Even the small herb plants which grow in the along with the crop plant, they are also killed by using the herbicides. So herbicides or weedicides, fungicides, bactericides, whatever the chemical fertilizers we are using, of course they are being used by the farmer, and they will be killing all these things so that they can save the crop. But the problem here is they are getting deposited in the soil. So once they deposit in the soil, don't you think that they will get mixed along with the water? Don't you think they will come into the plant again, into the plant, and which we are eating, which other animals are eating? If they go into the underground levels, don't you think they will get mixed with the underground water, and they will come out as a drinking water? And how many people are drinking that water? How many animals are drinking that water? And that means whatever the water is there in the underground or the soil will be contaminated, will be polluted. So water pollution is happening. At the same time, soil pollution is also happening. So these are all the problems which are caused because of the using the chemical, synthetic killing agents and all here. So you can take the bactericides, fungicides, all these sites which are chemical based and all, they are definitely damaging our soil. They are definitely damaging our water. So soil here, okay, and the water, both are getting polluted because of using this, all the bactericides and the fungicides and the herbicides and all. So that is how we should not do this, right? We should not be able to we will definitely get a crop, but whereas the water will be polluted, at the same time soil also will be polluted. So to overcome this problem, what we can do is we know the ecosystem, the food chain, right? So one insect will eat the other insect, and there are birds which will eat the insects, right? So that is how these are the natural methods by which they can use the birds to eat the insects and all. So that is how they can get rid of many insects. Of course, this is a very long process, time consuming process, but still it's a natural way. It still is a natural way of getting rid of these several insects and all. So farmers, if they try this method, it will take very long time, but soil will not be polluted. At the same time, water also will not be polluted. So that is how there are different natural methods of getting rid of the pests. Okay, natural methods. There are many natural methods which by which the farmer can get rid of the pests and the insects and the microorganisms. So that is what we are going to see now. Okay, so now we'll go ahead with the natural pest controlling methods. So how naturally we can control the pests and all. So now basically we are using all the synthetic pyrethroids like insecticides, pesticides and all. So instead of that, what can be done? Instead of that, what can be done here? Okay, that is what we are going to see now. So if you take the friendly insects and all, like there are dragonflies, there are spiders, there are mirids and the ladybird beetle and all those, what they will do is they will eat the larvae. They will eat the larvae which is present usually in the plants and also of the JCs or the thrips of the stem borers. Okay, these are the three insects where they have the larvae, and all these larvae are eaten by the spiders or the dragonflies or the mirids or the ladybird beetle. So now all these are our friendly insects. By using them, you can get rid of the larvae, because these larvae will they will become into insects, and also before they become insects and all, they will be eaten by these friendly insects. And also if you spray the insecticides and the pesticides on the wall, so these will die and the larvae will hatch into insects and all. They will completely destroy the crop. That's the first thing. Second one, there are some fungi and also there are some bacteria which are able to kill these stem borers. Okay, the ones which bore the stem, I told you, so those will be, and also tobacco, these will be they will be killed because of the fungus and bacteria. So here there are some useful fungus here, right? There are useful fungi and also there are useful bacteria which are actually helping the farmer to get rid of the different uh, microorganisms which usually cause deadly disease in the plants and all. So now the next one is, so we can go ahead with the mixed crops here. Now when you grow the paddy, after growing the paddy, if you grow the black gram and the groundnuts and all, like what you can target is the Tungru virus of paddy. So that will die. So after paddy, if you immediately next crop itself, if you put paddy, then this virus will attack the paddy and the paddy plant, the paddy crop will completely get spoiled away because of the Tungru virus of paddy. So that's how, if you after this paddy, if you go ahead with the black gram and also groundnut, okay, that will definitely remove the Tungru virus of paddy. So immediately after the cotton crop, if you raise the maize and the gingerly plants, you can get rid of the gram caterpillar. After the red gram plant and all, you can raise the maize and corn. That will destroy the bookworm and the dry diseases and all. So all these plants are called as the Akarshaka Pantalu. So these are the different methods by which farmers can use these methods and all, and they can get rid of the several diseases and also all these diseases causing insects or the and microorganisms, all these can infect the plants, and that is how the yield will be infected, right? If you use the chemical fertilizers, there are adverse effects of the chemical fertilizers and all, and the chemical pesticides and all, so that is the reason why if you go ahead with the natural methods and all, the soil health will be preserved for a very very longer time and longer generations to come. So what about our next generations, what about their next generation, if the soil health is completely disturbed because of this fertilizers and the pesticides and then whatnot, so the yield will definitely become low in the even coming generation. Now also it's very less, and even it will become more less in the coming generation. So it's always the responsibility of the farmer to save the to prevent the soil health, right? To save the soil health, he should see that the soil is completely healthy and that can be used for many years to come. So that's only possible because if they use the natural fertilizers and the natural pesticides and natural methods of killing the insects and all, and the organic farming and the crop rotation methods and the mixed crops and whatnot. So all these things and all, they will be helpful in maintaining the soil health. And also, if these methods are used continuously, definitely we can see the improvement in the yield, right? That is how there are a lot of challenges for the farmers, but they will definitely overcome them if they use these methods what we have studied till now. So now this is not only for your learning, so if you know anybody, if you are a farmer and if you know anybody who is a farmer, you can tell all those things to them and you can make them aware of all these things. You can inculcate the ideas which you have in your mind, and you can change the farmers who are using all these things and all, and you can make them prepare a very good soil health, and so they can see that the soil is completely healthy, so that they can get a very good yield even for the many years to come. Already we have seen that if you use this kind of fertilizers, chemical things and all, like pyrethroids and all, so the health of the soil will completely degrade in 20 years. So what after 20 years? What will you eat after 20 years? So always natural methods are very very good, and that is the reason why we are giving this lesson, so that you can bring the awareness in the farmers, so that they can also know what's actually they have to do. Okay children, by this we come to the end of this particular unit. So the next unit we'll see tomorrow. Okay children, see you all. Until then, have a great day. God bless you.